hello and a happy Saturday afternoon to everyone tuning in today. We are about 6.5 minutes away from kickoff, and so we just wanted to jump on in, welcome everybody, and we will be back as Trinity University and Austin College will take to the gridiron here on this sunny February afternoon. Hello and welcome to Trinity University here on a sunny February afternoon in San Antonio. Southern Athletic Association football spring 2021 season about to kick off for both the Trinity University Tigers and the Austin College Kangaroos. The two teams from Texas meeting here to open the 2021 spring season. I'm joined by Sam McWhorter. And Sam, you'll be taking us through for today's action. Your thoughts on the Tigers so far?
I mean, they need to make a statement. It's been so long since any of these teams have played. You just have to come out, and no one knows what you're going to look like. No one knows how good you are, except the team itself, and you're going to have to come out and prove it to the world.
And the Tigers will do so on defense first, as they have won the toss and elected to defer to the second half. And that will bring us up to the Austin College offense. And the two deep has Tyler James at quarterback, Evan Powell and Devin Redu at running back. Wide receivers will be Aaron Redu, Broderick Hampton, and Xavier Maxwell. The offensive line will be Jacob Haynes, Colby Banks, Tyler Haynes, Zach Muth, and Jacob Lacey. John Aldridge will be the place kicker for the Kangaroos. And we'll get to the Tigers defense here in just a minute. It looks like we are ready for kickoff in a long-awaited 2020-ish type of a season. Kicking off for the Tigers will be P.J. Hemsley. Yep. And that one taken at the 5. And it's going to be a fantastic return for Austin College, as Evan Powell will take it back to about the 42-yard line.
It's a great start for them, and looking at this Trinity defense, a lot of quality players on here. It looks like we're going to have the at least listed probable starters were Campbell Miller, Harrison Good, Matthew Willis, Michael Jewett, Caleb Harmel, James O'Gurin, Ezra Gore, Matthew Berger, Jesse Garcia, Jeremy Irving, Christian Matta, and Eli Gammon. It's a good underneath throw there to get things started for the Kangaroos.
Yeah, and James to Powell early on, and that's going to get about half that for the first down. Yeah, you mentioned the Tiger defense. A couple of names that we've seen before. Let's take a look at those 2019 averages. The one that sticks out defensively, 15.1 points allowed, and they only allowed 293 yards per game. And they definitely have a lot to prove. That might have been a false start. No flags on the field, and it's going to be a run for a loss and be third down.
And really that Tiger defense allowed them to play the way that they did. Allowed them to be a little bit more conservative on offense, go for those very safe looks. They didn't need to have the ball going up and down the field all the time. They could afford to run the clock down sometimes, and that was enough to get them wins often. And then when the opponent was put under pressure, then you have so much of the ball, it's just a blowout.
And this is where the Trinity defense excelled, forcing teams into third and long. Powell's going to throw underneath, and he will get the completion, but it won't not be enough, as Broderick Hampton's only able to gain another 5 yards. That'll make it a 4th and 6.
That's just a great bit of coverage there. You know where the sticks are. You know what you can give up. And then good, solid team tackling. You notice 3 guys on that just to make sure that this set of downs ends.
So an early defensive stand here for Trinity. And it's going to give us a chance to see Chris Stewart on this punt return. Showed the excitement the last few years. He's going to get an opportunity to return this one. Takes it at the 10. And goes to his left. Able to get about 5. And the Tigers will start 1st and 10 at their own 15. An opportunity to see that offense. Wyatt Messick, Mike Edmondson, Baylor Jordan, Austin Burtness, Ryan Merrifield, Chris Stewart, and then the offensive line of John Hughes, Brandon Michaels, Alex Steele, Santiago Bowman, Braden McKinney. And some of those skill positions, names that you are familiar with if you've been following the Tigers for the last 2 to 3 years, particularly here with Messick. He's going to get the season started off with a nice first down throw.
And that's just good, solid scheming. Get your quarterback going, get them a completion under the offensive line with enough blocking out in front to get you yards. If it gets a first down, great. If not, you've already got your offense moving with positive yards.
And Anton Noble with the reception and the first down for Trinity. And a run to the left here on first down. Charles Davis, the third, as he will, they're going to say, lose about 18 inches as he was pushed out of bounds by the Kangaroo defense. Just underway here, 12 minutes to play, first quarter. Trinity and Austin College kicking off their spring 2021 season. As Messick now looks to run after he dropped back. Now he's going to release. He's got a man downfield, and might have been some early contact, but not going to be called as that pass was intended for Ryan Merrifield. And that will go incomplete, bringing up third down.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Had Chris Stewart underneath on the right side of the field, went for the big completion. A little bit physical, but, you know, a tough contest from the Kangaroo defense. And now you're in a bit of a tough spot here.
And third down, Messick fires over, and might have been Merrifield with the catch that is. And that will be a Tiger first down on a fantastic play by Messick just to get it out as he scrambled out to the right. Merrifield with a great catch to get the second first down of the day for Trinity.
Really tight window for him there, but this Tiger offense loves Messick on the run, especially to his right on those rollouts. He has great body control and is able to fit those in even when it looks like there might not be an opening.
Messick will keep it for a small gain. And we saw so 2nd and 9, Messick will hand off to Davis. Davis has room around the left side, and coming up from the safety position and making a fantastic open field tackle is going to be Jarrett Pleasant. And there is a Kangaroo down. We'll take a quick break and be right back.
That was Al Gray there down on the field, able to get off on his own power. And it's now going to be 3rd down and 4 and a bit for this Tiger offense. Lining up in a 5-wide spread, 3 on the right for Messick. A lot of room to roll if he goes for it. They pull Edmondson back into the backfield. And this is a designed run. Beautiful up the left side. And Messick nearly escapes the tackler but stumbles out of bounds.
Yeah, something we've seen quite a bit of. The quarterback draw there on third and about medium of 4 or 5 yards. And a fantastic play call there by Coach Jeremy Urban.
And you think about how many looks that they gave the defense to think about on that play. You have room to the right, so you have to think about the rollout. You've got a 5-receiver spread to start with. Then you pull a man back into the backfield, and at the end of it all, it comes back into shotgun. He takes it for a second, and then it's the quarterback draw. That's a lot to think about for a defense.
And Trinity continues to move the ball downfield. It was their third first down here in the early going on their first drive.
And this is a beautiful screen up the left side. He might just escape the tackle. And that was good work by Chris Stewart. That inside pull screen. And this is now a scoring situation for the Tigers. And we know they were good in the red zone quite a while ago, about 16 months ago. But are they still good in the red zone now?
Yeah, 16 months ago, the last time these two teams met. And this is the preseason All-American, Edmondson, gaining a few up the middle.
And it looks like they're going to bring in a slightly different package for second down. It's going to be Baylor Jordan, the tight end, coming onto the field to put the Tigers in 11 personnel. And this is an option. Messick takes it up the middle, doesn't really get anything. Stuffed by number 91, Gabe Spearman.
Yeah, it's a play that worked a couple of times already, and Kangaroos not fooled the third time.
No, they had most of the options covered there. You could maybe say you give it to Edmondson and just trust him to bring the edge, but everyone stayed home on that possession. 2 receivers either side for Messick. Takes the snap. He's looking right. He's throwing right into the end zone and just out of reach for number 11, Austin Burtness.
Yeah, it looked like Messick might have been rushed just a bit on that one. And
he definitely was a little bit, and that is a bit of a missed opportunity for this Tiger offense, but still a chance to come away with points. It is so hard to throw that pass before the receiver makes his break, and that's what he had to do. We'll see if they get a field goal as consolation anyway. Kick is up, and it is no good, wide right.
And that's a fantastic result for Austin College. They gave up a couple first downs. Trinity was able to take about 5.5 minutes off the clock after getting an early 3 and out. But for Austin College to come away after not giving up any points, that will be a big boost to the Roos offense coming back. I think one of those things that's a little disheartening to the offense, not being able to come away with anything. They had done well out in the open field and then get down inside the red zone, unable to come away with the opportunity to score.
Yeah, just a couple of tough plays that got stuffed up the middle for the Tigers. And they maybe went for broke a little too early on that third down throw. This is going to be a run up the middle for the Kangaroos, and this looks well covered. Might have been a loss of a yard there.
Yeah, Josh Lockhart carrying the ball for the Kangaroos. And they're going to give him a yard. There's a swarm of Tigers that met him there at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and that yard, if anything, feels a little bit fortunate. Either way, left hash, 3 on the right. Fake the handoff. This is a rollout now. And underneath, unable to be corralled by Broderick Hampton.
Yeah, Matt Willis did a great job getting around the end and forcing James to roll out. And then he really only had one option as he rolled out. I thought he threw it in there a little bit too hard for the receiver. A pass that could have been caught, but Had he caught it, he wouldn't have gained anything.
Always nice as a defense to know that you're putting the offense into no-win situations where the decision they make doesn't really matter. This, though, is a good throw over the middle and a quality catch there by Bo Garner for the Kangaroos. And that's perhaps the best play we've seen from the Kangaroos so far, Josh.
Yeah, definitely. Their first down, they moved the chains. It won't be consecutive 3-and-outs, but James, once again, that's the second time Trinity's jumped into the neutral zone. They were able to get back both times. And a fantastic grab by Gardner as he was going down to the ground.
Handoff through the middle, up on the right hash, and again, just well covered. And this defensive line is going to be a pain to break through.
Yeah, Coach Dawson with the head coach title, but also the running backs coach for the Kangaroos. And you figure they're going to be a team that likes to put the ball on the ground, gain some yards there. But it's going to be a tough go against this front four for the Tigers. And last year, 16 months ago, 2019, October, the last time these two teams met, Austin College came down to Trinity. They put up some decent yardage overall, but a lot of that was a couple of big plays through the air. They get a few more there.
Yeah, and one thing that you're going to have to do against this defensive line is just like on that last play, give them other threats to think about. Give them the screenplay to think about. Give them the play action to think about. And this is just another run up the middle, and you can see things were just freed up a little bit. Another first down for this Kangaroo offense. And all of a sudden, they're on a march.
Yeah, it's not going to take much. If you can keep the Tigers guessing. They only needed a yard there on third down. They pick up their second first down, now into Trinity territory.
And it looks like they're going to stick with this two-back set. Quarterback looking right. Throw is high but caught. And that'll be a gain of a couple of yards for Evan Powell on the right side.
Caleb Harmel with the tackle. Had he missed that tackle, Austin College probably into the red zone there. They would have had a lot of room in the middle of the field.
Absolutely would have. And now Tyler James, a chance to keep this drive going. They only need 6. Fakes the throw. It is a handoff. And maybe a gain of about 3 if we're being generous. Not a ton of success yet on the ground, but they're going to keep going to it. And now in a 3rd and 5 situation, we'll see where they turn. I would think the ball stays in James's hands here, Josh.
And gets the Tigers to jump offside once again. That one's going to be flagged.
So a free play for the Kangaroos. And we are going to do this one over. A little jumpy. And could that be the first football game in a long time, Jitters?
Now we mentioned it's been 15 months for either team. And you see, those were the 2019 standings from 15 months ago. Barry and Trinity, co-champions of the SAA, and Barry moving on to the postseason by virtue of defeating Trinity. Austin College going 4-4 in conference, 5-5 overall, and that game here in October of 2019 was very competitive through 3 quarters before Trinity was able to open it up, take a 52-35 win.
And as we return to action, a 4-yard gain for the Kangaroos offense. And again, Josh, they are creeping their way into the red zone.
Yeah, now up to 49 total yards as well, the stats have come up.
And this is going to be a drop back and throw situation. And what luck is that? Into the red zone, easy first down.
Yeah, Broderick Hampton just staying with the play, catches the tip, and gets them the first down inside the red zone. So, sometimes you've got to have a little luck, keep a drive moving. I'm not so sure if maybe Hampton wasn't the intended target on that play and it got deflected underneath inadvertently. He was standing right at the first down sticks.
Tough to say, but either way, a first down, and this is a ball into the end zone, and that one was well covered by the Tigers and especially by Matt Berger.
Yeah, nice tight coverage right in front of two officials.
And had the man fronted as well, so that throw was in danger of being picked off if it was in the wrong area. Going to have 3 wide. And this is going to be a delayed screen, and that is going to be a touchdown for the Kangaroos.
A very nice play call from Coach Dawson and the Kangaroos, and that'll put the Kangaroos up early.
Yeah, Aaron Rideau there with the touchdown. And again, like you said, beautiful play calling.
Yeah, because it looked like it was just going to be maybe an option play as he went down the line, or maybe just a sweep out to the right for James himself. And he took a few steps and then started to back up, and as he did, brought the defenders with him. And kick after, up and through. So early 7-0 lead for the Kangaroos. 2:11 left to play. And we will be back for the kickoff in just a bit.
And we're back for the kickoff here. Kickoff is in the air, and this is going to be returned by Edmondson. Takes it up the center of the field, a hop, a skip, and a jump, and out to the 20-yard line. And Edmondson needs just 2 more of those to stand alone in 4th place all time at Trinity. So first down on the 20 for the Tigers as the offense comes out. And they will be looking to have a more successful spell on the ball than last time, if only marginally. Made it all the way down to the red zone last time and went a few yards into the red zone, but unable to come away with any points. Tigers in 11 personnel. That's 1 tight end, 1 running back. Receivers to either side of the field. They're going to run it left. And that is some good fight there by Michael Edmondson to get a solid chunk of yards and make this a much more comfortable second down.
Yeah, this drive is going to be critical for Trinity after giving up the 7, after coming away with 0 on the last drive where they marched down the field.
Snap back to Messick. Looking left, throwing left, and Edmondson again getting some yards and fighting for more. And the sideline loves to see that. Fighting out of bounds and never going down. And Tigers look like they're going to stay in this same personnel again. The tight end, number 84, Baylor Jordan, staying out on the left side of the offensive line in 11 personnel. This is going to be an option play, and Messick keeps it, and he's going to dive for a gain of 3. Looked like Edmondson had the edge here, but Messick kept and got the yards anyway. 45 seconds left in this quarter. We're going to move back to the one running back in the spread. Messick throwing out and just over Ryan Merrifield, who nearly made a spectacular catch if he was able to get his whole hand on it.
Yeah, triple coverage there for the Kangaroos. Al Gray was mixed in there with Jarrett Pleasant. And that would have had to have been a perfectly placed ball by Messick to give Merrifield a chance.
Sideline play call change here. They like something they see in the defense, and it was the slant over the middle. Big gain there for Austin Burtness over the middle as Messick inches his way towards being the 6th player in school history to reach 4,000 passing yards.
And Burtness had some pretty big plays the last time these two teams met. And that one just off before the end of the quarter. The horn going off, maybe giving some confusion. Messick run it out past the 40 to the 39, and that is the end of the first quarter. And so we will be back. We'll take a look at the first quarter stats. And Austin up 7-0 on top of Trinity after 1. You take a look at the total yards there. Things are looking good offensively for Trinity, 109 to 81. But Austin College with the lead. And good look at the new home section here for the Tigers. Unfortunately, the empty crowd. I'd love to have you here and can't wait for you to be back.
But we're certainly glad you're joining us at home, as this is a screenplay and fumbled out of bounds, but another solid offensive play for the Tigers, who, as you mentioned, have looked good on offense so far, but it's been all dinner, no dessert. There's still no points up on the board as we enter this second quarter. As the offense looks to the sideline for the play call. We are once again going back to that 11 personnel. Messick in the shotgun, calls for it. He's going to look right. He's going to throw deep into the end zone, and that is just out of the path of everyone. Intended for Chris Stewart.
Yeah, just a step or two ahead of Stewart. And talked about maybe a little bit of jitters when the defensive line was jumping offside. I don't know if the offense is just not just in sync yet. They're real close. We've had a couple sail just beyond the reach of the receivers.
And we know both teams have been working hard to get ready in practice, but there's just nothing that can simulate game reps. And you have to think that those small miscues are not going to stay around forever if you're the Kangaroos defense. This is a good little swing play out to the right. And we'll move to 3rd down and 4. Once again, Josh, in a bit of a dangerous place here for the Tigers. You don't want to come away with nothing twice in a row.
Yeah, I like the 2nd down play call there, though, because it gives a lot more options here for 3rd down. Could still be a run, whereas 3rd and 10, you're probably not going to take a draw play or anything else.
And this is the draw play, but it is swallowed up. Number 98 and number 4, Max Wallstad and Reagan Wilkins make their way into the backfield and just eat that one up.
Well, as we were thinking it, probably so was Austin College's defensive coordinator, Mike Silva. You get that 3rd and 5, and it might be just a tad out of range here for Hensley, and Tigers are going to go for it here. 4th and 6 from the 25.
3 receivers on the left, 1 on the right. Snap to Messick, looks right, rolls right, and is in a lot of trouble here, but might escape. Houdini act for Messick, but it's going to be taken out of his hands.
And a fantastic rundown there for Austin College. I believe that was Keegan Nichols. And Keegan Nichols, who has given the Tigers fits for the last few years, does so again on 4th down. That one will be fumbled out of bounds, so it will be Austin College ball. They'll take back over at the 26. They may have said it was incomplete. I don't know if they said his arm was going forward or not. But either way, 2nd straight time that Trinity's gotten down and just unable to cash in.
And that's a pick possibly for the Tiger defense. It's going to be ruled incomplete, but excellent play there by Michael Jewett to break underneath the route and at the very least break it up and almost come up with the pick. And we have seen him make impact plays like that for quite some time. 2 running backs set again for the Kangaroos. Pass out to the right and dealt with. Incomplete, but the tackle was there anyway.
Yeah, that was quick coverage for Matt Berger. The 2nd time we've mentioned him today as he closed in quickly.
So 3rd down and long. And if you were the offensive coordinator for the Kangaroos, what are you thinking here, Josh?
I mean, Trinity's front 4 makes it a very hard opportunity to take that run. They've done really well through the air today. You know, straight pass seems, well, that's going to be short of the distance. I was just going to say, like, you've got to deal with that front 4 one way or another. And the pressure coming early on, I believe, that was Jacob Munoz pushing the play and pushing the urgency of that one. Just another great job here from the front 4. And I think that the defense probably very frustrated after Austin College went down and scored on them the last drive, coming back out and showing that they're not going to let that happen consistently.
You're right. It was a big stop for them. Still have to be alert here on 4th down, but it looks like it will just be the punt. And this one is going to send the return back, and that's going to go out of bounds at around the 19.
It's going to end up being a great punt. 54 yards.
Got the right bounce on it, had the right line on it. And this is now going to be quite a lot of work left for the Tigers to do to get all the way down the field. But we've seen them nearly do it twice.
Yeah, and that's the thing right now. I mean, Austin College was able to capitalize on their one drive. And they've had 2 stall drives early on. Trinity's been able to move the ball, but they've come up empty.
Certainly a tale of 2 very different end products. Swing pass, no good for Messick.
Yeah, he was looking for Anton Noble, very similar to that first play of the game, where Noble was able to get about 10 yards.
Excuse me, that was Tucker Horn, who had entered the game without us knowing.
And Tucker Horn in at quarterback now, as Messick is standing over by Coach Gazella with the helmet off. And so this will be a run for Charles Davis.
So a different look for the Tigers offense. Run out to the right by Charles Davis was dealt with fairly well. 3rd and 7. It's not Armageddon, but it's a bit of a tough spot. Four receivers set for Horn. Offensive line still pointing out the coverages, and then Horn fires. Will it be fought through? It will.
That is an incredible catch by Burtness. Austin Burtness, as his jersey was being tugged during the completion, able to rip that away and maintain control as we have a Kangaroo down. The athletic trainer's quickly on it. A great catch by Burtness, and we're trying to get a number here. It's 34 for Austin College, and that is Cesar Tearene. And we'll leave it at that angle. We'll be back in just a minute as the trainers attend to him. Yeah, so as you saw from the replay there, it's incredible catch for Burtness, and then the unfortunate injury for Caesar. And the Kangaroos senior linebacker out of Houston.
And Teorena's still down. Going to get up.
It's good to see him put some pressure, at least make his way to standing. So he's
still not putting much weight on it.
Yeah, the replay did not look great, but we hope for the best. And first pass for Tucker Horn, first completion for Tucker Horn. As we mentioned, he's in, Messick's out. Wonder if this, with it being a spring game, I wonder if this is an opportunity for Trinity to say, like, hey, we've got quite a few guys that we can put back there and see how they do, as Stewart is going to make a great run. And that'll send the Tigers almost down into the red zone on just one play.
And the double jet sweep. Good play design, and Horn putting in a block for his guys. And you're right, Josh, we don't know exactly what the scenario is with Messick, but I assume that it's as you are speculating. We'll see if we can get more info on that later in the game. But for now, Horn in a 4-receiver split, 2 left, 2 right. A lot of space on that left side of the field, but he's going to look right instead, and this one's over the middle again. It's his favorite. Austin Burtness over the middle. And if that happens a few more times, we're going to say it so much it loses meaning. Deepest that they have been into enemy territory so far this game, Josh.
And inside the 10 now. And I was just about to say, this feels like this drive has the possibility of ending positively here for Trinity. I feel like if nothing else, you are well within field goal range at this point.
It's the fade over the top, and that is going to be, guess who?
Austin Burtness with the catch, and I'd like to see the footage there from the camera down on field level from University videographer Taylor Stakes, as he was in the perfect position to get that corner fade for Burtness. Tucker Horn with the pitch and catch, goes for 7 yards, and the Tigers are a PAT away from knotting this one at 7.
And Hensley wants this one to go in, needs this one to get in. It was a bit of a ropey put down, but it is up and good. And we are back to level.
You get another look at it here. It's a perfectly placed ball, and didn't see the bobble initially from Burtness, but looked like he definitely was able to regain control inbounds. And that has us knotted 7 on. Man, 202 yards of offense here early on. That is just remarkable. 81 for the Kangaroos, but even though they've doubled them up and then some, the most important numbers are there at the top, 7-7. And another look at the new home section. And I'll tell you, when we are able to have spectators again, this is going to be a fantastic atmosphere. You got chairback seats here between the 40s for the home side. The bleacher section as the stands continue to run out to about the 25s.
And kickoff here is bobbled. Picked up, though. It's going to be taken down the right side. And sometimes these can be dangerous for the defending team because you get thrown out of your blocks. But it is dealt with right around the 25. There's a flag down on the play and a Tiger down on the play. And that is Jordan Jones or Christian Mata. I couldn't quite tell which.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Both carry 14. Mata, the defensive back, but also a senior. Not sure if he's on special teams. It looks like it's Mata. We'll double check. Yeah. It looks like he's back to his feet.
And he will jog off under his own power, which is always good to see. Easy to get a little worried when the helmet comes off so soon. And referee explains the penalty there, and that is going to push the Kangaroos back significantly.
Yeah, holding on the return, so half the distance from the spot of the foul, and they will take over at the 9. So, see if the Kangaroos can add to their 80 yards of offense so far, and they try to run it up against the front 4 of the Tigers once again, and once again, unsuccessful. James is 7 of 12 for 74 yards and that touchdown pass. Messick was 7 of 12 for 85 yards. And then Tucker Horn just 3 of 4, but 43 yards and the touchdown pass to Burtness.
And unfortunately, another Tiger down. This is Amir Mustafa. It looked to me like he was pointing at the knee, but it might just be some sort of cramp. It's tough to say. Hope everything is all right. We'll take a quick break here as actually we will stick with you. Mustafa gets to his feet.
Yeah, he's able to put some pressure on it, and so that's a good sign. I mean, he's walking off, and that'll bring up 2nd and 10 for the Kangaroos once again. And mentioned James, 74 yards through the air. They've got 7 rushes for 7 yards. Their long has been 4 so far today. So that front 4, we keep talking about it, but you're only giving up a yard per carry. You get talked about.
It's definitely been tough on the ground for them, and that was tough through the air with a man open. Kangaroos have consistently come out of a 2-back set. It's what they've had the most success with, despite not having a ton of success on the ground. They're going to be out of that here, though.
Yeah, they've got 5 first downs, 7 yards rushing, and only 7 completions. And that will be a flag down.
Yeah, I believe Jewett may have just jumped the snap there, trying to come on the blitz.
Offside, number 51, defense. In the neutral zone, this is a snap. 5-yard penalty, replay 3rd down.
And that is indeed the call. Kangaroos get 5 yards and another go at it.
And Kangaroos now have more offensive penalty yards against the Tigers than they do rushing yards. Second penalty against the Tigers, 10 yards given to Austin College. And 3rd and 5.
And what a throw there. Complete to Xavier Maxwell. And how about that throw from James?
Yeah, I thought his initial target was Aaron Redu underneath. And I thought Redu may have been being held. And it just went through. As you see, just a perfect pass. Maxwell picking up the first down. And once again, just at the right time, Austin College, I mean, they haven't put together a great offensive showing today, but when they've needed to, they've been able to make the play.
You know, their timing has been impeccable. We'll see how long they can keep that up, though. It's a bit of a knife edge offensively when you're having to be perfect in certain situations. Sometimes it can last a whole game. Sometimes it only lasts a quarter. We'll see where it takes them in this one.
Well, as I mentioned, the last meeting 16 months ago, the game was really competitive through 3 quarters. And not necessarily stat-wise. Trinity was still doing what they're doing here today, but Austin College was able to keep that game very close on the scoreboard until Trinity was able to finally separate in the 4th quarter. So that one, another incompletion.
Well, you know, they're generally regarded as a very well-coached team. Sometimes that's just what well-coached teams do. They will fight you out, drag you down, steal a couple of touchdowns, and then you're in trouble. Tigers wanting to avoid that here. James drops back, evades one, tosses out to the right, has a man, and I believe that's going to be complete. That would have been good in the NFL, 2 feet down.
It was Aaron Redu again, and that was all around. That was one of the best-looking plays I've seen of the day so far. Let's take another look. Good pressure, just couldn't wrap up. And able to sling it, didn't have much of a room for error along the sideline there.
No, had a man over and a man under.
Campbell Miller on the initial pressure.
And this is going to be a handoff and stopped behind the line. Not down yet, but this is going to be a loss. I believe of about 4. So again, the run, not the Kangaroos' best friend so far. They're going to come back out in the 2-back set. They'll send a man in motion, dropping back, hit as he threw and nearly an interception. James could not get that one off quick enough and was nearly forced into a mistake. That was Berger, who has been everywhere in the pass defense, breaking that one up, and now 3rd and very long here for the Kangaroos. And they're going to come out in 11 personnel, which says to me that this could be something up the middle, and it is. It's underneath. Can he get to the line? He can. And that's just good play design, plain and simple. Tigers lost the man underneath and then couldn't recover.
And that's Broderick Hampton yet again, and mentioned him a few times. He's just been in the right place. He's
cuts an imposing figure at 6'3", 210.
Yeah, now 3 for 37 yards. And that one went for 20.
And once again, Josh, you talked about it. Right place, right time, and that's been the whole offense. It's working out so far.
Yeah, it's feast or famine at this point. And a whole lot of negative runs or short runs, and then 3rd and long, they've been able to capitalize a few times.
But as long as you keep feasting, you're not going to complain. This will be 2nd and 6. And again into 11 personnel now. So 1 tight end, 1 running back, 3 wide receivers to the right. James with the handoff. And up the middle for a pretty good gain, all things considered, with how the defense has been dealing with those. It was Josh Lockhart up the middle.
Yeah, I think even, the 2-yard gain there is definitely well worth it.
Absolutely. It makes this 3rd down a lot less pressure filled. And they come out once again in the 2-back set. It's a staple of their offense. Tigers bring an extra man, and it forces the bad throw. That was just out of the reach of Evan Powell. And now they have a decision to make, Josh.
Yeah, I think you got to go for it here. They're not moving off the field at this point. You're looking at 47 yards on a field goal. At Division III level, that's not impossible. It's not unheard of, but even at the NFL level, I think you're looking at maybe a 50-50 shot on that. And so you got the wind blowing up against you, coming in from the north. And you only got 4 yards to get. And you've been a team that's been making plays when you had to. So I think, if you're talking 50-50 or less on a field goal opportunity, and I feel like maybe you've got a 50-50 shot offensively, this would seem to be the right call here from Coach Dawson.
100% agree with you there. Especially at the D3 level. And I think possibly all the way up to the NFL. And again, like you mentioned, it's not as if you're going to give the Tigers some crazy field position by going for it here. They'd be on the 30, which is not insignificant, but it's not as if you are putting them on your own 30.
Yeah, with the way Trinity's moved the ball, I don't even know if that creeps into your mind at this point. Because at some point you've just got to say that, when we get back into the red zone, if we can do our job there, we've done what we need to do. But yeah, I don't see any downsides to going for it here. You got 5 minutes left here in the second.
And that also has to come into your mind. Whether or not Trinity would be able to take it all the way up the other end. They are generally a bit of a languid offense. This is going to be another throw, and he had it.
And the Tiger defense is going to hold. Like I said, though, I mean, if it's a 50-50 shot, I still don't think that's a bad call. Take your one shot and see if you can convert once again. They've had success to the sideline a few times. I thought maybe they would explore the middle of the field a little bit more. I think that middle of the field is where they've had more success. But, maybe you're trying to just outthink Trinity at that point. You've had a lot of success in the middle. Maybe they think that too, and they capitalize on that, and they go from there.
And again, they got their look to Hampton, so.
So under 5 minutes left to play, and we'll see what Messick has as he's back in.
And what he has is about 5 yards for the Tigers to start things off.
Yeah, so, he did get taken down 2 drives ago to end that drive. Got thrown down pretty hard. I just wonder if it was, it was a quick turnaround for that next drive. So I wonder if you just wanted to be cautious and maybe make sure that he was good to go.
Could have been, and that is nearly picked off.
Yeah, the linebacker underneath.
Matthew Kinneshet.
Kinneshet. I think if he's able to corral that one, he might have been able to, take that one all the way back. There was nobody on the near hash after Burtness had cut across for Trinity. He would have had to deal with probably Messick's giving chase and maybe some of the offensive linemen, but other than that, there would have been room to run, and there's no room to run here for Messick's as he is taken down, and that will force a 4th down, and at the 36-yard line of Austin College, or at your own 36-yard line, you're going to punt that one away. We have seen some trickery here from Coach Urban in the past.
We certainly have, so Kangaroos will have to stay alert. No gunner on the left side of the field, but they do that fairly often. Will just be the punt.
And a great punt that's going to fall right at the 20. So not bad, 44 yards. That one will stick right at the 20-yard line. That is where the Kangaroos will take over. Take a look around the SAA. Games happening today. It's Hendricks and Millsaps, Center and Barry, and Birmingham Southern and Rhodes along here with Trinity and Austin College. And then below that, the games will be next week. Hendricks will be taking on the Kangaroos, and Trinity will travel to Mississippi to take on the Majors. Barry and Birmingham Southern and Center and Rhodes also scheduled to play.
And return back with an incomplete throw. James unable to find the receiver on the sideline there. Second down and 10. Drive off to a bit of an inauspicious start, but that hasn't really meant much for the Kangaroos so far. And they will come back to the two-back set. Send Powell in motion, and this is going to be a run of about maybe an inch.
That's Devin Rideau. Now another 3rd and 10. So we've gotten Trinity forcing Austin College into these 3rd and longs. Austin College has been able to respond. A couple of first downs in these situations.
And they've gone to 11 personnel quite a few times in these situations, but they'll stick with the two backs. Deep throw down the left sideline, and that is going to be incomplete.
Jesse Garcia on the coverage there, doing a great job. And
I believe that was the first target for Logan Arnold down the field on the left side. And now 4th and 10, deep in your own, and you'd have to think a punt coming.
yeah, with 2:33 left to play, the pass maybe, got to respect Austin, trying to go for maybe a big play, take the lead into the halftime locker room. But the downfall to that is that you've given Trinity an opportunity now to.
Oh, and how good is this?
Stewart lost that one in the sun. He's going to have to retreat. And that is going to be, 74-yard punt. We'll see what the official call is on that one, but he boomed that one after the roll.
I think you're definitely in the neighborhood there with that estimation.
And I was about to say, you're going to give Trinity good field position in 2:27 to play. They're going to say 67 yards as they're going to spot it at the 13. Actually, that one's spotted at the 11, so they'll change that one. They're going to say Stewart was -2 on the return, so he picked it up at the 13, returned it back to the 69-yard gross for Austin College, and I think that changes everything here for Trinity as well. 2:19, you're now pinned up against your own side. Austin College still with all their timeouts, or it looks like just 2 of their timeouts, both teams with 2. So you might just see some runs to run this one out.
You certainly might, and this might be the conversation that they're having right now on the sideline.
I can see maybe a first down pass to see if you can move the chains. And if not, then, be wary of how much time you're going to give back to Austin College after that. And with this being a spring season, too, I don't know how much all of the normalities of football are going to play into everybody's thought process. You've got 5 free games here, 4 games on the regular schedule, and then your crossover at the end of the year. Obviously, everybody wants to be playing for that top crossover spot and take home the 2020/Spring 21 SAA championship. But I think also you've got a free, if you're a coach looking at this, you've got a free 4 games of competition that you can see what the guys can do.
Yeah, that's certainly true. It'll be interesting to see how different coaches approach that challenge. It is the first down pass, and they do move the chains. Good sideline catch there by Chris Stewart, who had a bit of a ropey moment on the return earlier. Makes up for it quickly.
And they're going to give him 9 yards. I really like that play because with Messick's rolling out, you've got to respect his ability to run, but you've also got to respect his ability to throw the ball deep downfield. And then you just keep Stewart 8 to 10 yards away on the sideline, just kind of hanging out to where it's a good outlet valve. That's going to be Davis making a few more yards. That'll be a first down. And now I think as the clock moves under 2 minutes, now I think you can start to take a chance here.
I think you're absolutely right. Will be 2 receivers either side of Messick's. And he's looking downfield. First read wasn't available. Second wasn't either. That might have been past the line of scrimmage, and we're going to see a flag down.
Yeah, the line of scrimmage was the 24, and he was right in front of the 25. And that will will be a penalty. I think the first offensive penalty against the Tigers. They've got 2 for 10 on the defensive side. Only 1 penalty for Austin College. That was on a hold on a kickoff return.
And now with 1:36 left to go and down, I can see the argument both ways. You could definitely just say I'm going to go into the half here tied up and I'm not going to worry about it. Or, like you mentioned earlier, I've got some free games here in the spring, and you never know when you might need that little bit of confidence to say, hey, we knew we had a minute and a half before, we've done it before, and in some game down the road you say we can do it again. They will stick with the spread. Messick gets it in the shotgun. He looks to the crosses underneath, and that's going to be a sack there by number 52. That's Drake Sanders for the Kangaroos. And we have another Kangaroo down on the play.
Yeah, Sanders was down briefly, and I think that's him down again.
Looks to be.
Yeah. He spun Messick around on that sack, or Messick spun around trying to get out of it, and I'm wondering, as he's favoring his arm, how if he had just got it caught up with Messick as he spun. And
certainly could have been hyperextension, or
we hope it's nothing as serious as that, and
certainly
maybe just a stinger for the time being. But his sack, I think, changes the dynamic here. Obviously now 3rd and 26 for the Tigers. Minute 24 left. If you've got either a short pitch and catch type of a play that is going to be caught, you could try that. Otherwise, try to run 25 seconds off the clock and boot it away on 4th down and hope Austin College, play clock's going to reset to 40 now. So you'll be able to run this one down to about 45 seconds, run your play, and then you've got 4th down, punt it away, and maybe leave Austin with only about 30 seconds. They decided not to run it down.
They decide to go for it, and Messick does not have a lot of room here. He fires. Is it caught? Is it intercepted? It's on the ground.
Incomplete, and coming back for it, I believe it was Merrifield. Yeah. It's like we said. If you're going to have a couple of free games here in the spring, that's probably not a play we see if we're playing for a postseason berth.
I have to agree with you there.
Maybe the coaches would be inclined at some point just to turn the tide before you go into the locker room. But I think, some of the things that we're seeing are also, things that we're seeing because we are playing in February.
Absolutely. And not to say that they're not taking it seriously, but just that you have more objectives. You want to win the game, but you also have other things that you want to accomplish.
This will be Jones on the return once again for the Kangaroos. And looked like he might have been able to have a few more yards, but Tigers close quickly. He only gains about 4 on the return. Now if you're Austin College, 45 seconds. And I think you can definitely get to within field goal range. I think, if you can pick up 10 to 15 yards here early on, you got 2 timeouts left. If you can pick up a few yards, you might have an opportunity to take a legitimate shot into the end zone instead of just throwing it up.
And this is an area where I would love to see that 11 personnel look under the middle. You can see there's only 2 linebackers there, but you only have 1 man in the middle. It might have been caught. That would have been outstanding by Broderick Hampton. There is a flag on the play. Could be pass interference. It's not clear yet.
Yeah, it came in right after the catch was made. That would be the early thought.
I believe the first ruling was complete, though, so that was a fantastic catch by Hampton, and we'll see where the flag takes it from there.
I think you got to take the pass interference here. It'll give you a first down. And then, so you wipe the catch off the board. It's unfortunate for Hampton as he made a fantastic catch. But you get the stop of the clock, but now you get the first down back with the penalty.
And now things are looking a lot more doable, although they do only have 39 seconds, so they'll have to keep an eye on the clock. They're in the same formation, and James is going to be flushed here. He's going to attempt to say that's a pass, but I think that's going to be called for intentional grounding.
It's intentional grounding. They just made the signal, but also that's a fumble. So
I thought that was
I don't
a fumble
know if
all
you could.
day.
I don't know if the pass was backwards. I don't know if you can be called for intentional grounding on a fumble, but that's going to set them all the way back into their own side of the field.
And the officials are going to have a
conversation. I think they end up picking up the flag here.
I think they do as well, but either way, since it's a fumble out of bounds for the offense, that does mean that the ball just ends up where it went out. So that was a desperation play by James, but it really changes the scenario. And that might
head referee is just getting his cardio in. See if
they're still talking about it. I think they're coming close to a decision.
Yeah, I mean the initial call was intentional grounding. The thing that makes it difficult is the fact that the ball went backwards.
It didn't look like he was in a throwing position, nor was there a receiver in the area. So several factors to consider here. I would love to see.
I think that might be. I think they're still trying to call intentional grounding, and Coach Dawson is trying to make the same argument we are, that the ball went backwards, so it's a fumble. So a timeout by Austin College. They're going to say that it was a flag for intentional grounding, and we will just go from there.
Quite the speech there from the head referee.
And Trinity chose not to take the 10-second runoff.
Which is interesting, but, again, you've pushed them pretty far back. They only have 30 seconds. Perhaps you're hoping to force them into a mistake here in such a long first down situation, and maybe you can bring something back the other way. Who knows? Again, a curious piece of play there, and you wonder if maybe it's better just to take the sack there. It seemed like the ball, even without the intentional grounding, if you just take the fumble, that ball went 2 yards backwards.
Yeah, and so they've got them on the 50. I think it's fair to say it's been 15 months for everybody involved since we've been on the football field. So some things still, maybe it's good to have a few games here in the springtime, as we are very hopeful to maybe get going once again back in August, September. There we go.
Excellent.
All right, so
it took them a timeout, but they've figured out that it was a fumble out of bounds.
And to be fair, you and I are at the 45-yard line here, and we had a perfect sight for that one, because that one's going to be incomplete.
Absolutely. It's so hard down on the field. The referees have an impossible job. And it's very easy to look down from our castle on high and make judgments. But this is going to be an interesting situation for the Kangaroos.
So the only thing that I'm still not sure about was they didn't move the ball after he came on and just said it was a fumble out of bounds, not an illegal forward pass or intentional grounding. So
And at this point, I can't remember if that is where the ball went out of play or if that is where they had moved them back.
And I thought it was more of the 48, but I mean, at this point, a yard here or there is after everything. Oh, and that one was fumbled inbounds, and recovering is. Haven't seen a marker yet, or
there was a scrum, but a Trinity player came up with it.
Yeah, Campbell came out with it.
No signal still by the referees.
Campbell Miller for the Tigers walks away with the ball, and
they are motioning fourth down, so no symbol on who recovered it. But
all right, well,
apparently it was the Kangaroos.
You get a look at it there.
It looks like a battle for it.
I don't know.
Could have been Colby Banks, the offensive lineman who got in there for the Kangaroos.
Yeah, if they had initially called it a clear recovery and down.
May just have missed that initial call if it was cut and dried. This is going to be a punt situation, and there are 20 seconds left, so Kangaroos not in the clear. Motion for a fair catch, not taken.
And I don't know if it's a fair catch. He's looking directly into the sun on those. He's been doing that on the last two or three. I'd say that might be one of the trickier parts for some of these guys, especially Stewart there on punt returns, just guys looking up into skies that they are not normally accustomed to looking at. Because normally, I mean, you figure the sun's position might be similar for an early November game, but I can't remember the last time we had a sunny November game.
That's true. That certainly changes the calculus a little bit.
So, like you said, 12 seconds left. So let's see if
they're coming out in a passing formation. It's in the spread. Messick is going to take this, dip into his own end zone, reel up for a big one, and that is going to be over the head of Burtness.
They had Burtness wide open, but
he took an outfielder-style step and jump into that one. Get some extra juice on it, and turns out he only needed the jump.
You're a little too excited for that one. He's got 5 seconds left. He's going to need the excitement here for this one, though, unless Trinity's got an underneath route planned.
And if they do, they'll have 4 Kangaroos at the opposing 40 to get through. It is just a run, and we are going to move into halftime. Score knotted up at 7-7 on this beautiful day in San Antonio. Josh, your quick thoughts, we'll give it a little more in depth when we come back, but your quick thoughts on the first half.
I think, you look at the total rushing yards there for Austin College. I think that front line for Trinity's just been fantastic. I mean, -2 rushing. Trinity 200 yards of offense, but they had that shortly after we got into the second quarter. Austin College doing a great job of, I think, getting time of possession. Doesn't look like offensively that they've been anywhere near time of possession that Trinity has had. They've got the time of possession lead. And I think that's probably the big reason, Trinity 2 miscues down in the red zone area. They could easily be up 21-7. I think that's more indicative of what we've seen, just the ball moving up and down the field. But at the same time, Austin, has done this repetitively over the last few years. I mean, they've not been spectacular stat-wise, but on the scoreboard, they've been right there with everybody. So not necessarily surprised that it's close at the half, but given what we've seen from both teams, it does feel a little surprising that we're still tied. I think Trinity defensively is doing the job that they need to do. Offensively, I think they've just got to take advantage of the next, 2 plays or 3 plays that they've got when they're down in the red zone and try to put some points on the board.
It'll be an interesting game when we come back. We'll see if Austin can pick it up and stay tight or even take the lead, or if Trinity will pull away. We'll be right back with you in just a bit.
You're still muted, but then after that you're good. And welcome back to Trinity University. And teams are coming back out from the locker rooms. We are just about ready to start the second half. And take a look again once again at the first half stats, and just the number that jumps out to me, the -2 rushing yards for Austin College. Expect to see that be largely improved upon in the second half, as it's going to be very hard for a team to hold a team to negative rushing yards throughout 4 quarters. But other than that, passing yards roughly about the same. And Trinity with the big advantage overall because of their rushing abilities. But time of possession, 15 minutes apiece. And it'll be Trinity to receive the second half kickoff when we get underway. Individually, it has been James for Austin College, 10 of 23 passing for the 129, 1 touchdown, his long of 21. And that went to Bo Gardner, whose only completion of the day was that 21-yard reception. Hampton with 37 yards receiving on 3 receptions. Powell, 3 receptions, 17 yards. And Aaron Rito with 2 receptions for 37 yards. For the Tigers receiving-wise, Austin Burtness, 4 catches, 59 yards, and a touchdown. Chris Stewart, 3 for 40. And Anton Noble caught the first pass of the game for Trinity, 14 yards. And then Ryan Merrifield, 1 catch for 12 yards. Chris Stewart with 34 yards rushing on the day. Wyatt Messick's 19 yards rushing. Mike Edmondson, 11 yards. And Charles Davis with 9 yards on 6 carries. And so Chris Stewart's only rush for 34 yards, that was the big one that got him down into the red zone, just a play or two before Austin Burtness was able to catch his receiving touchdown that knotted the game at 7. And we've got about a minute left here before the half. Take a look around some of the other games. The Center and Berry game about to kick off. Birmingham Southern and Rhodes later tonight. And then next week, of course, Trinity in Jackson, Mississippi to take on the majors of Millsaps. And Austin College travels to Conway, Arkansas, take on the Hendricks Warriors. And those are your first 2 weeks of the SAA scoreboard. And as we mentioned, Trinity to receive the second half kickoff as you get another look at the new facility here on campus. And we are delighted to be calling the game from the new confines and very happy that you were able to join us while not in person here on the Tiger Network. We appreciate you tuning in, and we hope that the broadcast has been somewhat enjoyable. We know that's not the same as being here, but we hope that soon enough you'll be back in attendance as the Kangaroos put it on the tee, and we are just about ready for the final 30 minutes here from San Antonio.
And it'll be Aldridge to kick off for the Kangaroos, as we are just about ready to get this second half underway. Trinity once again receiving into the sun, and once again they've lost the ball. They need to get on it. This might be a Kangaroo recovery.
Yeah, that took a very good bounce for the Kangaroos, and they have it.
Wow.
And so as we talked about that first half, that sun right into the eyes of the return men, and you see, he just couldn't find it, and then that ball bounced towards Austin College, and what a fantastic diving recovery. I'm trying to see what number that was that jumped on it. There's a pile there now. I believe it was number 1. And that'd be Evan Powell, the running back. Looked to be a single digit, straight up and down. So it was either Jones or Powell. It could have been 7 as well. But what a fantastic recovery. And, well, we thought that the first half ended very weird. Why not start the second half in just as bizarre fashion?
You may as well.
And Austin College, that's going to be the game's first turnover as well. And so,
What a way to do it.
if you don't count the 4th down turnover, deep in Austin College territory. So, yeah, first down pass from James. It'll go incomplete. And just got to say, I was looking forward to see what Trinity had offensively. But now we're going to see what the Tigers can do with the ball already in the red zone here from the Kangaroos.
It's a tough spot to be put in as a defense, especially because you're not expecting it. So we'll see if the Kangaroos can capitalize. Looks like they're going to get a free play here. And no, it looks like Trinity jumped back onside.
Yeah, they've been able to jump back onside quite a few times today. And
They have. Referee reached for his flag, didn't throw it.
you see the FAR judge on that play never even flinched.
Stoic.
So he apparently didn't think that that even prompted the anticipatory flag. And another run for no gain. I mean, that's a loss of 1 there on 2nd and 10. And let's make it -3 yards rushing now for the Kangaroos.
But James can sling it, and this is not going to be called PI, so Broderick Hampton will complain. But the pass will go incomplete on that side, and that's a very quick 3 downs for this Kangaroo offense after getting the ball in. And that would have been a tough case to make.
I was going to say, he might have had holding somewhere early on that play. I didn't see it live, but I was going to say towards the end there, it looked like it was just tight coverage. We've seen a lot of tight coverage today. Haven't seen very many penalty flags, especially for defense. We saw 1 for pass interference on a catch made by Hampton earlier. Now on for the field goal and the lead for Austin College as they will take a free 3 points here off of that kickoff. So John Aldridge putting a little backspin on the kickoff, and it works out in their favor, and then he's able to connect from 37 yards out. And the Kangaroos quickly here in the second half, now up 10-7.
And we start things once again just as we were, so this is going to be interesting to see. Wonder if Trinity considers changing up their return coverage.
And 10-7. I was just waiting for the second half stats to reemerge. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do kickoff return-wise now, as you mentioned, because we've already seen the difficulties of looking into the sun and just trying to maybe see, I mean, you can kind of see the baseball field off behind the football field here and on some of our views. You've got outfielder Ezra Gore on the football team. I'm sure he's pretty used to dealing with this February sun already with the baseball team, but this one will be kicked over. Edmondson, he's
Neither
looking
one of
for
them
it,
have it.
and Trinity
pick
will
it up.
recover. And Edmondson, a preseason All-American for his return abilities, and I think might have seen a little bit there. He takes a ball that was just laying on the ground, and he's almost able to bring it back out to the 20. So we'll see how that affects Austin College here in the fourth quarter, because it's going to affect Trinity here for this entire third. Nice job to make the first 2 men miss. Really was 1 tackle away from maybe catching that sideline.
Yeah, and we mentioned earlier, sometimes those types of ball on the ground situations can actually be more dangerous for the defense because it throws your coverage out of whack. This is going to be a run out the left side. Looks like they're going to give it a 5-yard gain.
And that's Edmondson once again. Nice. tackle laid out there by Reagan Wilkins. And Edmondson bounced off of it. Sometimes those are the ones you see. Guys come up with a stinger in the quad area. It'll be Messick's on 2nd down and 5.
They are going to throw out of the 11 personnel after faking it, and what a catch that is.
And Ryan Merrifield downfield. He'll have the big catch. Had one in the first half. He's equaled that total. And that's a great job of holding on to the ball. In midair, makes the collision and the catch at the same time.
Yeah, and those are tough catches to make, like you said, especially when you get that body shot right after. Makes himself a big target. Comes down strong. And a 1st down. Trinity in 11 personnel. They're going to run it here. It's a good job of finding the cut space by Edmondson.
Yeah, and a nice job getting 4 yards when it looked like he was going to be running into a line. Austin College now giving up 78 yards on the ground.
Yeah, the rush attack continues to be fruitful for the Tigers. No big breakthroughs, but just a lot of solid gains, just like that one. 3, 4, 5 yards. They don't seem like much, but they add up at the end of the game. And over the course of a drive, just keep you moving, get you into easy 3rd downs.
3rd and 4.
And this could be the underneath route. We'll see. They do have 3 to that side. Looks like they're going to check out of it.
Yeah, Keegan Nichols, the linebacker, on the right side. Shown blitz. They fling it out to Edmondson, and he'll be out along that sideline, pick up the 1st down, right in front of the 50 at the 49. Trinity still moving.
And that was the 3 slant underneath route, but it looks like they checked into the wheel route for Edmondson. And that was the outlet there for Messick's, who is edging closer to that 4,000 career yards mark. This downfield, that's going to help quite a lot. Merrifield takes that one in at around the 34, or excuse me, the 32. Fell forward. And Josh, the offense at least is looking good so far.
Yeah, kind of what I was excited to come back and see out of the break, and just had a hiccup on the kickoff, but now you've got a good mix of passing and running as Edmondson will take it down for a few more.
And again, nothing huge, not a big breakthrough, although that one looked like it had the potential. But you move the change, now you're into a short 2nd down. You can afford to take a shot here if you want to, or you can continue to just slowly march down the field. Messick's in the gun. They're going to go option on the right.
And there was just no defender there to stop him until he crossed over inside the red zone.
And no one stayed home there. And he had blockers out in front. Just one man to beat. And a good tackle there to save the play by Jared Pleasant. And they are going to run it again here with Messick's up the middle, squirreling his way to the left side of the field. One to beat again, and pulled down for a gain of 9. How good is this?
Nice ability to cut back to his left and then just pick up the extra few yards. Makes it a 2nd and short here. I'm going to say 2 to go.
It looks like whatever they talked about at halftime is working. Because
Nice Short route underneath, back shoulder pass to Stewart.
And again, Tigers just keep moving the ball.
That's a pretty completion there, and Al Gray, nothing he could do. I mean, that arm was in the way the whole time. And a perfect pitch and catch from Messick to Stewart.
And when those back shoulder throws are on, it is tough for a defense to stop. Like you said, there's not much you can do about it.
So first and goal from the 1.
See if they go to the run. They usually do. And they will give it and fighting for it, but it is going to be, I think, forward progress stopped just at the 1. And Davis just couldn't quite find the gaps. And swallowed up by Kangaroos there.
Yeah, Dawson Canine might be tired of us talking about the Trinity front 4. So we've given up some yards, but we haven't broken too much inside the red zone. Going to make a stand.
And this is another run right on the goal line and taken down again. It's going to be a bit of a harsh spot there. They're going to pull it back a little.
Yeah, not a whole lot of open room right there either. I mean, you see Davis dancing around trying to find some sort of a window, and just nothing was there.
No, it looked like the cut to the outside was maybe open, but even that looked like it was fairly well covered. And now you are in a 3rd down and goal situation. They are going to throw. It's the fade to the corner, and that is intercepted, down. But there's a flag.
Flag down, and it looked like maybe, I mean, this could go 2 ways. That was so quickly thrown that it's either a hold or it's a push-off. And given that there wasn't a whole lot of separation, I'm going to guess it was a hold. Take another look at it. It's just out of reach there. And by that time, they've already separated. If this goes against Austin College, it'll be a first down for Trinity, which they desperately need with it being 3rd down.
And we'll see what the head referee says to us.
Yeah, so it was pass interference or holding. It's a defensive holding, and
so that'll result in a half the distance to the goal, which at this point is a couple of inches.
And Daniel Molina with a nice catch for that would-be interception, but they get him for holding.
So you go all the way back to first down, and a new lease on life for the Tigers. They'll continue to run it and maybe get in this time, but again stopped just at the 1.
Yeah, and
this is brutal.
Yeah, Austin College, I think, definitely their front 4, their front 6, 7 down there now on goal line, making it just as tough to run against as Trinity is all day. But this is what they've done. I mean, we've gotten down in the red zone now, and this is the 4th time. They have just not given too much room for Trinity.
But it looks like they're going to get it there, barely get the breakthrough.
That's going to be touchdown for Trinity, the pass.
That's Caleb Crawford, I believe.
Yeah, Caleb Crawford, sophomore out of Houston. Getting the congratulations as he puts Trinity on top. And as you can say, he had one step inside that goal line when he made the catch. The referee right on top of it.
So they just about get the breakthrough, and it looks like the bend but don't break strategy that we heard so much about in the NFL a couple of years ago had been serving Austin College well, but they finally do break after 5 attempts by the Tigers.
Yeah, you just had one, 2 feet inside the end zone there.
Ooh, close.
It is 14-10 as we wait for the PAT to be added to the stats. And you can see the yardage now, 291 for Trinity. The first part of this opening second half. other than that, Trinity's possession here with 6:40 to play. So they move that up to about 22 and a half minutes. And pretty good job offensively balanced. 184 passing, 107 rushing. The coaching staff will be pleased about that, as Hensley will put this on the tee.
And they will certainly be happy also to be up in this game after some miscues early. But Tigers have done a good job of fighting back. And ball has fallen off the tee.
A couple of other Austin College scores for you today. The Kangaroo men's water polo team falling to Air Force 18-10. But their women's basketball team up on top of St. Thomas 30-22. And see if we can't find some information from the SCAC cross-country championships that took place today.
We'll work on getting you that. But in the meantime, here comes the kickoff. This one booted deep to right. Taken at the 1. And a long run down all the way to the 21. And getting a little bit chippy on the sideline there. Decent return of about 20 yards.
A good blocking up front.
And now here comes the Austin College offense. They have sputtered at times. They have looked brilliant at times. You might see both on this drive. They're in the two-back set. They give it to the left back. And that's going to be stopped for maybe a gain of about 2, depending on how generous the spot is. And that's one of the longest gains all day on the ground, which is really saying something about the run defense that the Tigers have shown.
No, still keep them at negative yardage overall, now down to -1.
It's going to be a pass. They fake the handoff. It's a tight window, but caught by Hampton again, who seems to be a favorite target of Tyler James. He's had a couple of drops, but also, again, some excellent plays. Not sure he quite got that over the line in time, but they're going to say he did, and first down.
Yeah, it looked like his initial movement might have been right at the stick that was there. So either way, they move it on down. So there's the 10th first down, 10th first down for the Kangaroos. And they try to run it once again, and they're just going to have a fit of that all afternoon. I said there's really no way that Trinity can keep that going all day long. But it looks like Caleb Harmel, along with Isaac Agmubadu, trying to keep that completely negative for the entire 60 minutes.
Be a heck of a feather in the cap of this defensive line if they were able to keep it. It's going to be a short pass underneath. Not sure that's going to advance the ball more than a couple of yards.
Jeremy Irving with a nice open field tackle.
Yeah, Powell unable to slither out of that one. And we're going to once again see what Austin College can do on third down. They're going to line Hampton up at the tight end spot, so they go in 11. We've seen this before. Hampton usually comes across the field. This time he goes up the seam, and James goes well underneath the sticks.
Yeah, Rito with the catch, but that's going to be well short.
And it's a shame, too, because it looked like there was a moment in time where Hampton was open up the seam, and it looked like that should have been the first read.
On the bottom of your screen, if he could have placed it over the middle of the field, he probably had him for about 15 yards right into the middle of the field.
And you have to think when they move Hampton into that tight end spot, he is the target. But not on that play. We'll see the punt here, likely. We do. Once again, a return into the sun.
This one will take a Trinity bounce out of bounds. And all things considered, that's the best result I think Trinity could hope for on a return going from left to right.
Certainly seems that way. This one about a foot away from getting blocked.
Good extension, but needed a little more room.
Yeah, just a millisecond late, but as you mentioned, a good result. Not even having to worry about the return there or the catch. It was short enough to let bounce, and it jumped up.
So 1st and 10 here for the Tigers once again. Drove down for a touchdown their last attempt out, and it's going to be Tucker Horn coming back in at the quarterback spot. And he's going to hand off to Charles Davis. And Davis slips. Actually, I think he stepped onto the back heel of his blocker.
Yeah, it looked like a little bit of an ankle roll there, but should be able to shake that one off, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully Alex Steele, the center, unaffected by that one as well, because offensive linemen do not like to get their feet rolled up like that.
No, they do not. We'll see Horn in the 11 personnel that Trinity likes to run. 2 receivers right, 1 left. Fakes the throw, gives it the run. And out to left side, fighting for a gain of about 4. It looked like it might be dealt with at the point of contact, but then wriggling through.
Yeah, Davis doing a good job once he turned the corner, just fighting forward. Manageable 3rd and 6 now.
Horn likely to throw, but Tigers are not opposed to running it in this situation. We'll see what they go to. And there's a man underneath, but Horn is going to scramble for this and get a gain of a couple. And it looks like that's going to be a 3 and out, possibly, depending on what the decision is. And yes, it looks like the punt team is going to be coming out. So a 3 and out for Horn.
Yeah, and I think even his underneath route still wasn't long enough for a first down. I think it was about the 38, 39-yard line, which is where Horn was able to cut to anyway. So,
yeah, credit to the Kangaroo defense. They had pretty much everything covered. The only thing that was open probably doesn't get it for you anyway.
So Horn without a pass on that attempt or on that drive. So now 3 or 4, still 43 yards. And this one on the ground. And they're going to say his knee was down. We'll see if we can't get a replay and look at that. Because
that is a big, big call.
I mean, we've seen that happen before. We've got a good look at it. So, yep. Well, I don't know.
That's tough.
That's
I don't know
tough.
if he had possession yet.
That is tough on that call, so we'll see.
And right there, his knee is clearly down, but he doesn't have
down.
possession yet.
Yeah. And all you have to do is touch it. So, but I'm trying to see if that ball is just on his foot or if it's on. Either way, it doesn't matter. The call's been made. The ball's going to be at the 26, but
fingertips, it looks like.
Yeah, it's one of those things that as a punter, you've got to be careful of how you go down. You know, punters, I think, are taught routinely not to put the knee down. It's just so hard to not. It's such a natural motion that you just very hard to overcome. And so, Eli Gaiman will put the Tiger defense into another precarious spot, and they've been kind of used to it here in the second half. Second time that the Kangaroos have started inside the 30.
And again, chance to take the lead for them off of some misfortune. And they love nothing more than to capitalize.
Oh, they got Hampton completely
underneath.
left alone.
That's a touchdown.
Yeah.
Wow.
Beautifully drawn up play. It took everybody away from the middle of the field And the one guy that you can't lose sight of was just walking around with nobody near him.
When he is in that spot, you have to pay attention to him. He is almost always the target. Coming across from that tight end spot in the 11 personnel. And there you go. We said they'd like nothing more than to capitalize. Well, capitalize they do. We'll see if they can add one more point onto it.
Trinity only gave up 15.1 points a game in 2019. Now giving up 17 here. But to be fair to this defense, 10 of those points coming with possession starting inside. One at the 20, and that resulted in a field goal, and one at the 26. And 17-14 lead for the Kangaroos. As you see, 169 yards of total offense compared to 285 for Trinity. It's not the total yards that matter at the end of the day. And they have taken advantage where they needed to.
They have, and as we mentioned, that's what teams like Austin College that are well coached do. They have a sense of the game moment, and they take advantage when they're presented opportunities. And you just have to stay as mistake-free as you can. And unfortunately, for the disdain of the Trinity returners, I'm sure they'll have to take one more return into this sun before the quarters switch over. Got about 59 on the clock.
I mean, it was a big scoring play. I'm going to say it was 26 yards on the touchdown, and it happened rather quickly. I think, as you mentioned here, the bigger of result of that is the fact that you get to kick off into the eyes, into the sun one more time, and we've seen how brutal that has been. But Stewart does a nice job of fielding it cleanly, and he's broken a few tackles, still moving. He'll have that one out to about the 33. So Tigers avoid the danger, and presumably the last time they'll have to return into the sun today.
And I'm sure that they will be happy to be done with it.
And Messick's will be out one more time. So you got to think that with Horn coming in on that last possession, that when he came in the first time, it was probably more of a scripted scenario as well, getting him an early drive. Not real sure if that has been the intention or not, but he's come in for one drive each in the first half and in the second.
And we'll see what they do. It's going to be Messick's for now, though, and a gain of a couple.
That went out to Burtness. As the clock continues to tick down here towards the end of the third quarter, they should get another play off.
Should definitely get one. Could maybe squeeze two if you wanted to, depending on what the first down situation ends up being. In the spread. And this is going to be a run up the middle. Edmondson showing some elusiveness. And it looks like they're going to get one more play in this third quarter if they want it.
I think they'd have to hurry a lot more than they are. We're down to 10. And then Edmondson's going to drop. So he's got maybe a hamstring that just needs to be stretched out. And that might be enough time to, once he walks off the field, if they snap it, they might be able to get the ball off.
That's tough to say. It does look like maybe a calf issue. Just one of those little cramps that you get. Those are so painful.
Offense is staying out there like they want to run one more. And I think if you wanted to throw the ball downfield without having to have your receivers look back in towards the sun, now would be the time to do it, because if you can get one more play off.
That is certainly something you have to take into consideration. It looks like they're going to try for one more. And they are, but they're going to need to hurry. And they're bringing another man on, and I don't think this is going to come off.
So timeout with 1 second left.
So some confusion and miscommunication even throughout all the time that you had with the injury. And coaches are never going to be happy with that.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they put Ant Noble out there late. So I'm not quite certain if maybe he was the intended replacement for Edmondson. But like I said, I mean, if you wanted to throw one deep and not have to have your receivers look back towards the sun, I think that's the play that you might be looking at here.
I think you could be right, especially it's a first down scenario. You've shown that you can come out of those 2nd and 10s. But they are going to line up with a tight end. So they'll be in that 11 personnel that they like so much. And this is going to be deep.
He's got Burtness over the middle at the 20.
Still up and eventually taken down, but initially was not brought down off of the catch. And there you go, Josh. You called it. A throw down the field. You had several wide receivers scrambling as Messick's made his decision and eventually all the way down the field.
Yeah, you saw the room that Burtness had once he made the catch. There was really nobody around him. And a good job by Messick to find him, and that will be the end of the third quarter.
And we've seen him slither away from defenders several times throughout this game.
And so those stats are missing that last catch right there. So tack on another 30 yards. And that would push Trinity to about 330, roughly in that neighborhood, to 169. So just about doubling up Austin College here on the total yardage. But Austin College still with that 3-point lead. And 10 points here in the third quarter for the Kangaroos compared to just 7 for the Tigers. And they have the lead.
So we have a very interesting call coming from the head referee there. It's sideline interference from the Trinity side. I don't know if we have an angle of what that could have been, but we essentially have sideline interference the end of the quarter with the ball at the 20. The penalty is then assessed, and so Trinity is brought all the way back to the 35. Not often you see that, Josh.
That is a first. And I mean, I've seen the sideline interference called, just nothing on a play like that. And it's from the spot of the interference. So that is an interesting one. Like you said, I didn't see it happen live, and I didn't see the flag until the announcement came up. But either way, start of the fourth quarter, Trinity behind by 3. It'll be Messick's keeping, rolling to his left. And that'll cut 5 yards off, make it maybe 6 yards, and make it 2nd and 4.
And you can see Kaneen, who has been good all day, just bites there on the option, doesn't stay home for Messick's. And that edge is open. They'll be back in the 11 personnel. Again, that's 1 tight end, 1 running back. And the throw over the top, and that was a mess.
Yeah, just mixed up on the route that they wanted to run, or well, that's Merrifield down on that far side. I don't know if he got stumbled up. Yeah, you see him stumble. I think he might have been wide open on that one as both players stumble there. And yeah, just lost his footing. Otherwise, might have had a good chance to just walk into the end zone. But it's not 3rd and 46. 3rd and 4 as the as the scoreboard on the quarter changeover did not quite make it the other way, and not making it the other way is Messick's, and the Kangaroos with another sack, another big sack on third down. That is going to be Gabe Spearman. Or excuse me, it's going to be 98. That's going to be Max Wallstead, the freshman from Highland Village. And that'll make it 4th and 11.
And all of a sudden, what was looking like such a great situation and opportunity at the end of the last quarter has turned into a difficult one here. Messick's looking for an option, evades one.
Keegan Nichols forcing Messick's to step up, and where are they going to give it? It is a first
right
down.
At the line. Wow.
And Austin Burtness, I mean, Coach Urban played in the NFL, and when I talked to him before the 2019 season, he said one guy that he thinks might have really good college potential here and has the size and some of the knowledge to maybe move on if everything proceeds well in his progressions was Burtness, and just knowing exactly where to get to on that out route right there. Just incredible.
Yeah, he's having a heck of a day. 7 catches for 105 yards. Makes up nearly half of all the passing yards for Trinity on the day. They have 230. And a huge, huge pickup there. Trinity nearly into the red zone now. And that is tight.
There's that double play ball from the second baseman over to Anton Noble. And he swings that one around for another first down. Ball came out afterward.
And look at the margin on this. Inches away from the defender's hands. And then a very nice run.
Yeah, Hunter and Fulton sees that video. He's not going to be happy. That one was right there for him to at least bat down, if not somehow keep it alive and take that for a pick six.
Yeah, there is nobody in front of him there. Looks like he may have just not kept track of where Noble was and therefore didn't have the hands out in the right position for the pass. This is that back shoulder throw that they did at the opposite end to get them at the 1. This time tried it into the end zone, no go.
And talked about Al Gray. He had perfect coverage when Chris Stewart caught the back shoulder pass. Perfect coverage once again. And he might have gotten floated out just a little bit, but he did enough to disrupt it from Burtness. I don't know if that pass was as good as the first one on the back shoulder, but
yeah,
bring up second down.
Needed to be just a little bit higher. But either way, still on 2nd and goal. And Messick's looking right for it again. They're going to throw in a bit of a scrum, and there are flags down.
Yeah, I was going to say, just waiting for the flag on that one, because it looks like it's going to be a push-off on Trinity. Burtness ends up with it.
Yeah, you'll see here the two receivers come together.
And he just throws his defender. It's Jarius Williams. He just throws him to the side. We'll see what they do when they come out of it.
Yeah, they're still having a conversation, coming over to the head official. And it looks like this is going to be
offensive
on Trinity.
pass. Yeah, offensive pass interference on Trinity. Maybe a double foul? Yep.
There it is. Yeah, good call.
So they get Williams for holding, and they get pass interference against Burtness. And we'll just do it again.
Well, there you have it. We'll go at it again.
So at the end of the day, advantage Austin College. They probably don't like the fact that they get called for holding here. And the hold had to have been, I don't know, because I didn't see, if you're going to call that as offensive pass interference, I don't know if you can get called for pass interference slinging a guy off of you that you're being held by.
Yeah, it's a tough one, and that was nearly a great catch. Unfortunately, just slipped out of the hands of Caleb Crawford.
Yeah, had the last touchdown for the Tigers.
And once again, Trinity in danger of not coming away with full points here in the red zone. Messick looks left this time. Going to make a big throw to the back of the end zone, and I think that's a touchdown. It is.
Austin Burton is dragging the foot. And another touchdown. Two touchdown. Two touchdown day for Burtness. He's caught so many balls, you just lose track.
He certainly has. It's been a heck of a day. We unfortunately have what appears to be a Kangaroo player down on the field at the moment, but in the meantime, you see that replay. That was a tight little call there, but it looked good to me. And still just out of view of the left side of the end zone.
It's going to be Jones, the kick returner and senior defensive back out of Houston.
And you hope he's okay, but he is.
Yeah, it looks like
having that leg
being
work
stretched
down.
out.
Yeah, could just be a cramp. We'll hope that it's that minor.
And he gave good effort there at the very end on that leap.
I mean, the coverage wasn't bad by any stretch. It's just a great play by Burtness to get his body in position for it. Yeah. And there you have it. Yeah, it looks like just getting stretched out.
I should mention it is a 76-degree day here in San Antonio. So, fortunately, not the 100-degree October weather that we typically have to play in. But still pretty warm, all things considered. Yesterday, had a one-day cold front blow through, and it was in the mid-50s. But I think also, you mentioned it before, teams have been practicing pretty hard for the last couple of weeks, but there really is just no comparison to like going through a practice scenario and then coming out and playing in a competitive game.
And we see that almost every season too, and this one probably more than any other. But that first game of the season, so many cramps, so many just little issues that you have to deal with, get yourself through the game with. Because like you said, there's nothing that can prepare your body for the rigors of a full game of football against a competitive opponent. Kick is good, so that moves Trinity back into the lead. It's a 4-point lead once again, much like they had in the third quarter. And now we will get to see how Austin College deals with the returns into the sun.
Trinity now 367 total offense, and Burtness 115 on 8 catches, 2 of them 4 touchdowns. Leading the way offensively rushing the ball is Mike Edmondson, 7 carries for 42 yards. And Chris Stewart has 1 carry for 34. Messick 12 for 34.
And as the game has gone on, that rushing attack has gotten more and more big breakthroughs. So we'll see if that continues as we go deep into the fourth quarter and legs continue to tire. 2 return men back for Austin College. And we have seen it cause troubles for Trinity. Will it cause troubles for the Kangaroos?
And just a moment ago, their return man was getting stretched out. So back deep, they have number 11, Bo Gardner. And on the near side,
I believe that's Evan Powell.
Number 1. And that'll be taken by Gardner as he's able to field it cleanly and has room up the middle to run. Returns it out to the 31. That'll put Austin College in pretty good shape as we've got a close one here, 21-17. And so James will be back out. He's 14 of 30, 172 yards, 2 touchdowns. You see Gardner, not a bad job filling in on the return.
No, not at all. Solid return, and worth mentioning as well that as this game goes on, that sun will become less and less of a factor.
Hampton crossing over into the middle, and he'll lead block as it's another run attempt, and well, it's another run that goes nowhere. And that one by Rito, and now that'll be 8 attempts for -2 yards for Devin Rito.
And this Trinity defense just continues refusing to give up rushing yards. Do have the 2 sacks in there that help the average, but they are stingy. And this one's going to do the same.
And that one's going to go backwards once again, so a loss of a yard. And see Campbell Miller there, leading the way with his teammates on the front of that, Matt Willis. And my goodness, we've got 10:30 left to play here in this one, and Austin College yet to establish anything on the run game. Now 19 carries for -4 yards.
You imagine they're not going to it here in 3rd and long. And this is going to be a sack.
And we talked about how well they've done with the rushing and the defensive rushing yards, but haven't really gotten to James much today, but they will here.
Yeah, and that was
Jacob Munoz and Campbell Miller, and let's see.
I believe that was also Harrison Good in on the play.
Yeah, Harris Good into the mix.
Looked like the whole defensive line was in the backfield there, and again, that's going to drag the rushing average down even further. I think they're going to have -12 on the day. Just about get the punt away.
That'll roll, and that one's hit a few people, so now it's a live, or not a live ball, it's a dead ball that Trinity can pick up without too much of an issue, because if anything happens, it goes back to where Austin College touched it there at the 40. So nice job by Stewart picking that one up off the deflection, because once it touches the Kangaroo right there, Stewart can pick it up. And not much to do with it, but it'll put Trinity in business here at the 40, already with the lead.
Indeed, it will. And we'll see if they continue with the early down runs. They will. Messick's going to the left.
And Keegan Nichols once again coming up from his linebacker spot, making the tackle.
Yeah, finds his way through a little gap there. You can see, again, defense bites, and he has just enough room. Great block on the outside by Santi Bowman.
Nichols, who's been one of the best linebackers in the SAA for the last few years, still has a few years left at Austin College. And that one complete out to the outside. Baylor Jordan with the catch.
And we'll see what Trinity chooses to do here. You'd favor them for the run, but they have taken shots downfield in these positions sometimes. They do go with the run. They keep it safe with the lead. And a break through the line, burst of speed. And this play is going to be blown dead.
Charles Davis will be happy for that one. He had done 12 for 16 yards. And only 1.3 average before that run. And a nice little stutter and move on that one.
And you see that sometimes from the Trinity rushing attack, and Davis in particular, just wear the defense down consistently. And then at the end of the game, he still has that explosion to break through the lines. And, well, Merrifield is not going to be happy with that one when he looks back on the tape. Throw wasn't perfect, but he had the body control to get in position for it.
He's got 3 for 44 on the day.
Yeah.
He's been thrown out 8 times now.
Had a pretty good day, but like a lot of Tigers, just a couple of miscues that they'll iron out, no problem. It's no big deal. Messick's drops back. They bring an extra rusher. It flushes him from the pocket. And I believe that's going to be a flag down.
The officials without a hat, so I'm wondering if Stewart stepped out early.
I believe that's what it's going to be. It did look like his heel was just out at some point. But it's tough to tell from all the way up here in the press box. He was definitely inbounds when he caught it. Question was, did he come from out of bounds?
Yeah, illegal touching is the call.
A good spot by the official. You saw the hat down and you knew what that was likely to be. And all of a sudden, what was a promising drive and a good escape by Messick.
Yeah, you can just see where he throws the hat on that one. It probably was when Stewart turned around to come back for that one. And my guess is he was not out of bounds by much.
Yeah, like we said, looked like the heel might have just dipped out.
So it'll be 3rd and 10. And Messick's likely to throw.
Yeah, bombs away here for the Tigers, you'd have to think. 4 down the field. He's flushed early from the pocket, escapes, and now has open field to work with. The catch is made, and that is a wonderful first down.
And once again, it's Caleb Crawford with the catch. And my goodness, both teams now have had a play very similar to that. And I'll just let you sit back and enjoy this one. Messick's getting out of the grasp of Keegan Nichols, and instead of trying to run for it, throws it down. And thought maybe that might have been going towards Chris Stewart again, but no. Caleb Crawford coming back on to make the play. And officials timeout. As looks like they're going to allow a substitution here for Dawson Canine. He is walking to the sideline once again.
So a great, strong catch from Crawford off the throw from Wyatt Houdini. Makes his great escape, and so does Trinity, now with a 1st down and 10. Men down the field open, finds the underneath route, and some great fight by Davis to get inside the red zone, nearly down to the 15.
Yeah, take a look at it once again. It's a nice job by Charles Davis. Well, 10 and out. And then had a few extra yards available to him. This is the time when I'd say you start looking for Burtness. He's there in the interior slot.
Absolutely you do. You saw him take a look. He's going to go to the outside instead and pick up a couple yards.
Yeah, good job by the Kangaroo defense covering everybody downfield. You see, you can just watch Messick here. He wants that slant, and it's just not there. All 3 of the slants that came in off the left side were completely taken by the defensive backs for Austin College, and that forced Messick into the run, and he's able to pick up 8.
Going after him again, and this has to be a touchdown.
The hat trick for Burtness. And that will put Messick up to 240 yards passing. Or actually 250.
So Messick, we missed the moment, but he has now gotten to 4,000 passing yards in his career. That moves him into the number 6 spot. He's just the 6th player in Trinity history to accomplish that, as the kick is up and good. And could it be a similar story here for Austin College? Close for most of the game, and then Trinity pulls away at the end. We'll see if they have a response. Gonna take a quick break and be right back. So back for the kickoff once again. And we will see what Austin College has in store for us.
Take one more look at Burtness going over the middle. I think that's similar to the play that they wanted on the slant play that didn't work out, and Messick was able to scramble for 8. Burtness finally able to get open, and now the hat trick, 3 touchdowns on, what was that, 9 catches for 124 and 3 touchdowns. And Messick's 22 of 34, 249. And then Tucker Horn had a drive where he was 3 of 4 for 43 yards. He threw the first touchdown pass to Burtness all the way back in the first quarter.
Feels like ages ago. It's definitely a different game now. But the Kangaroos could change the complexion of it once again with a good drive here.
And once again, the front 4 for Trinity forcing James to scramble. And he's not going to get back to the line of scrimmage, so another loss of yardage on a run. That'll be 21 for negative 13. And I have a feel when I came on for the second half and said there's no way they can keep it at negative for the entire 60 minutes, they were offended by that one. They have stepped up.
We should also mention just a quick note of congratulations for Chris Stewart. Over 1,500 receiving yards in his career now. Only 14 Tigers have done that, and that is nearly intercepted.
Reading that one the entire way was Caleb Harmel. And Ezra Gore going for the play on the receiver, which is the right play there. And had he not been so good at what he needed to do, he probably gets that one off the deflection. Well, Tiger defense now coming together at all aspects. The secondary starting to make some moves, and that's going to be a false start. And that'll make this even trickier. 3rd and 16 now. And now for Austin College, you're definitely into a passing situation.
You certainly are. And we've seen them get out of situations like this before. They'll stick with the 2-back set, though, in this situation. They've usually gone to 1 tight end. And defensive line blows it up again. They get back to the line of scrimmage, but nothing more. That'll be 4th down.
And Gore making the tackle. And you see just the pressure. I believe that was Campbell Miller once again. Aaron Rito was able to get open, but as you mentioned, still quite a few yards short of that line to gain. It'll be 4th and 7. So James will punt this one away. And Stewart will take it all the way back at the 18. He's got room to run.
Got through much of that defense.
Coming from behind to make the tackle. It's going to be Daniel Molina.
And that trip up provided just enough time for him to get back into position and make the tackle. See it right there is the trip up. And allows the man behind to come in, make the open field tackle from behind. And now the Trinity offense out to play once again.
And correction on that tackle, Sean Verdun on the comeback tackle. Number 10, not 19.
So Horn looks left, gets the throw off, but they might lose a couple of inches.
They tried that underneath route with Anton Noble again.
Worked earlier in the game at a very tight margin. This time, not so fortunate.
Yeah, Williams just coming up and reading that one the whole way. It's under 4 minutes to go. Here for the home opener for the Tigers, the spring 2021 opener for both teams.
And shall we also mention the stadium opener for the Tigers? Love to bring this one in with a win. Horn in the shotgun. Fakes the run. That is over the head just about of Birdness. You almost backed him to come down with it.
Yeah, I mean, you've gotten so used to him making some catches. I think if he comes down with this one, and that's straight to Sports Center right there. One of the rare passes that gets over Birdness is listed at 6'3" on our sheet, and I'm looking at it thinking that if that's only 6'3", nobody else on this sheet should be listed at 6 foot.
He's certainly got some height, and he at the very least plays taller. This is a nice pass out to the right. He has the sideline, and Edmondson takes it all the way down to the 31. Great little swing to the outside there. And you'll watch this. That was the plan all the way. And Edmondson just has what they call that edge burst.
21-yard gain for Edmondson. He's now 34 yards receiving. He has 42 on the ground.
And the numbers on offense for the Tigers, which looked good but not great at halftime, are slowly inching into the other category as Horn escapes a couple but can't escape everybody. And a loss of 2 on the sack will put things to second down.
Yeah, he ran right into Keegan Nichols, who missed the initial tackle. And then couldn't escape. As we approach 2.5 left, Trinity now the 2nd and 12.
And we will see if Horn can execute a second successful drive of the day. He already has one. Drops back to throw, under pressure, escapes, misses 2 more men, and gets back just past the line of scrimmage again, but unfortunately isn't able to find anybody downfield.
Yeah, Max Wallstad missed the first time, stayed with it, and he completes the sack. Nice job to get right back up and chase down Horn.
Yeah, great hustle, and at that point coming from the blind side of Horn.
There's a Kangaroo defender down. Looks to be number 33. Nathaniel Manatri.
And we've seen Manetri make several good plays in this game. And of course, always wish the best for any player who goes down. Looks like another leg issue. We hope it's as minor as some of the others. And able to put some weight on it, which is always a good sign.
Yes, he's being helped off.
So
Are walking fairly normally, so we hope he's able to return. Again, Austin College next week at Hendricks. Trinity at Millsaps.
And now about 2 minutes and 14 seconds left in this game. As the clock begins to roll. And we'll see what Horn has on 3rd and long. Looks long right. Will it get there? No, just outside of the reach of Merrifield. Went for the home run, and it looks like they might keep him out there for 4th down. You may as well. If you can manage to run out the clock, it would be a great thing. Don't want to leave anything to chance. And your field position wouldn't be too bad that you'd be giving Austin College. So just see this one out nice and simple. And see if Horn can get through a tough situation at the same time. Pressure in his face, throws long, and the catch is made. How about that from Walker Hopkins?
Or is it Ethan Boyer also wears 31? So
There you go. That is actually Boyer. My mistake.
we've got quite a few double numbers, and we've got quite a few numbers that we don't issue out. But it'll be Boyer with the reception. And just as you were mentioning, now an opportunity to run this one down.
And on the option, Horn takes it. Gets maybe 2. And we're going to get a timeout here.
Had Carmochi for the option handoff and decided to keep. And a timeout taken. 1:22 left to play.
And Josh, if you're Trinity here, do you want more or do you just want the clock to run out?
Well, I think for the guys that are out on the field right now, I think they definitely want to play this one normally because it's a bunch of the guys that haven't been playing so far today. Trinity's pulled the majority of their starters, letting some of the reserves kind of get their moment here. So I think every one of the guys out there, I think they want to show what they can do. And, Austin College, I think, wants to keep fighting too. I think, as I mentioned before, you've got a couple of free games here, in the sense that you're going to be, you're not playing for a postseason berth or anything like that. And so most of these guys, are looking at, I don't know how many opportunities I'm going to have to show what I've got. And I think if you're the coaching staff, you just want to make sure that you walk out of here without any injuries in the next 82 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like they might accomplish all of those things.
And
that was a great explanation and a great touchdown to the left side.
Justin Carmochi.
And you can see he's just looking at the pylon the whole way. Gets it over. And you get one for the boys. You get out of the end zone without injury. And now you just see this one out.
And Carmochi, the sophomore out of Cyprus, will put this one away as the Tigers look to double up and extend Austin College now. That one squeaking through. And they'll make it 35-17 here with 1:16 to play. And take one more look at the run. Just getting to that corner pylon.
And the celebration, a little bit of a preview of later.
A couple of events tomorrow. Trinity softball in action for the first time this season as they host UT Dallas. We'll have that one live for you at 2 o'clock. And then Monday, the National Speaker Series here for Trinity. Judy Alston. That'll be at 5:30 on Monday. We'll have both of those for you here on the Tiger Network.
Excited to hear Dr. Alston speak. Very respected in the field. And a very interesting topic as well.
And once again, the ball falls off the tee. It's not the first time that's happened today. And Trinity will move to 1-0 and continue to extend their all-time series result against Austin College to 52-30-6. And having won the last few by considerable margins. The last time Austin College was able to take it was back in 2013. They won 35-7, and this is a very good return on the kickoff out by Bo Gardner, who's done very well for both of his kickoff returns today.
Absolutely, and may just be in the last dying embers of this game, grabbing himself a little bit more playing time, which is often the incentive for a lot of these players. You got to keep playing hard until the final whistle, because you never know how it might move you up the pecking order, and you might see those opportunities that you've been working so hard for. The drop back and the throw over the middle, caught and almost escaped out the back of the coverage for Rido.
Yeah, nice. Secure and make sure he had his feet underneath him. And like you said, almost escaped out the back.
Yeah, good solid catch by Rideau.
And over 200 yards passing now for James, who's going to scamper off. And depending on how far he gets, he may get the minus yardage all back on that run. He had been 21 for minus 13. And
I think he only got 11, but we'll see.
He'll still be a little short, forcing the run with Starkey. Tigers are going to win for Coach Urban's 7-year debut here. His 7th season, not quite a full year this year, but the wins have been piling up over the last few years. 8 wins last year, 7 wins the year before, and they won't get to those numbers this year, but hoping to go 5-0 as there is a 4-game schedule. Trinity will face Hendricks next week, and then the week after on the 20th, we will host, Millsaps next week, and then we will host Hendricks on February the 20th. And that one's set for a noon kickoff as well. We'll have that one for you here on the Tiger Network. And then the week after, they will travel up to Sherman. And so double dip against Austin College this year, and I'm sure Austin College will be looking forward to that game. And depending on how things shake out, could be an opportunity to maybe Trey King hit with pass interference. I was going to say maybe an opportunity to see who's going to move on. There is a crossover section, so the East and West for the SAA. And they basically will take the first place team, the second place teams, the third place teams, and they'll just face their counterparts on the opposite side. And I believe that first place game is set to be the de facto SAA championship this year. As Austin College now 32 seconds, still looking to put some more points on the board. And Ryda is going to find it and into the end zone. They're not done yet. 25-23, the point PAT pending, and Austin College not going down without a fight.
No, and it looks like they're going to be going for 2 here as well. So Rideau, 2 great catches. Oh, they're not going to be going for 2. Okay.
They'll kick the PAT, and two drives that I think Austin College can really take away here, things that they did really well. And then a couple of their the points that they got back in the third quarter were, I think, largely in part due to starting at the 20 and the 26-yard line going in. And that will bring total yardage a little bit closer.
Certainly will, but it won't change the rushing statistics any. And it looks like Trinity is going to escape this game having held an opponent to negative rushing yards, which is a monumental accomplishment, Josh.
Just unbelievable. I did not think that they would be able to do it over the course of all 60 minutes, and particularly because of how good of a running attack that Austin College has had over the last couple of years. But just just remarkable. I think, not only for the rest of February and a game into March, if everything can hold and go well here, as it looks like it'll be an onside attempt. But, I think most of all these guys are coming back in August and September, and if we've got a full slate of games going when we return in the fall of 2021, this defensive front is going to be a nightmare for opponents. And that one was loose on the ground for a moment and was recovered by Trinity. And Ezra Gore will put the cap on this one and give Trinity the victory. Really good onside kick here. I mean, that ball took some pretty good bounces, especially there towards the end. And Burtness not able to fully get his hands on it. Gore was there to clean it up. And would expect a kneel down here on this one.
It does appear like it will be victory formation here for the Tigers.
And so we'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. As we mentioned earlier, softball tomorrow at 2 o'clock. And the National Speaker Series on Monday at 5:30. And if you can tune in, please do so. If not, you can check out more of our events here on campus at live.trinity.edu. And then you can also check out athletic events on trinitytigers.com/watchlive. Get access to all of the athletic events there. And with campus being in an unusual spot here this semester, it's going to be a great place to tune in and catch some of the action still taking place here on campus, and happy to bring you as much of it as we possibly can. And so Austin College took a timeout with 20 seconds to play after the last kneel down. We'll kneel down again. They've got one timeout left. If they choose to take it, they do. And so we'll do one more kneel down and then conclude.
And Josh, just as we wind this game down, if you could give me one thing that you liked that you saw from the Tigers, one thing that you think they will need to improve on, and then your player of the game.
So I think the first thing that stands out, I think, is the Trinity front defensively. That is just unbelievable. We've talked about, holding Austin College to negative yards rushing. That's just ridiculous. Austin Burtness, I think, is looking like an explosive wide receiver that, we've been hearing about for the last couple of years. And just those two things, I think, are going to lead this team going forward. I think there's a lot of excitement here on campus for this team. Even with the short season, I think the guys are excited to see if they can't maybe run a complete schedule here, go undefeated and just take advantage of these games. And I think the one thing that they probably need to work on, if we're just looking at today's game, early on, the red zone troubles were there. But I think after that, they sort of got it figured out. This team was really good last year, SAA co-champs. There's always going to be small things to work on. But this is a team that looks like they are ready for the task going forward. So, not a whole lot to really be concerned about. I think if the team stays focused and lives up to expectations, I think they're going to be right into the mix of everything again this year.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Tigers win 35-24. Didn't always look that comfortable, but a good win to start off the schedule. You stay undefeated, and you hope you can keep it that way. Wish everyone a safe and happy weekend. Thank you so much for joining us. For Sam McCorder, myself, Joshua Moxai Gimba, and all of the Tiger Network production crew who makes all of this possible. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.